What's up, everybody? ApologyMan here, and today I'm going to be talking about my dream Faust buffs that I want in the upcoming Season 2 Guilty Gear Strive patch. We don't really have a date for the patch right now. They just said sometime this year, so I'm pretty excited personally because I know for sure Faust is going to get some buffs because he definitely needs a few right now. I have a long list of them. I made a Faust Dream Buff video before on this channel before, and the change now that I've played the character more, I think I have a more educated opinion on what he really actually needs without him being like too broken. But we'll see if you guys agree. LK, do you have any thoughts on maybe what Faust might need? I'm kind of curious what you think.
Yeah, so let me preface that I'm extremely biased against item throw characters, and it's mostly because I've seen the peak, right? So some of you might not have seen it. I don't think you played Persona. I don't think. I don't think you played Ultimax.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I don't think you played Ultimax. So I've seen the true peak. Most people probably think it's like ACR Faust is the best item throw character. Ultimax 1.1 Teddy is the best item throw character of all time. So that aside, though, Faust being in this game, it's kind of similar to Milia, right? Like, it's going to be a tricky balance because you want the people who pick him to do the thing that they want to pick him for. And I actually thought, like, despite the total duration of item throw being long, it's like 40 frames, right? The ability to throw multiple with no restrictions, as opposed to previous versions, is a pretty elegant solution to that problem, right? Like there are times where like he just gets to have all the items sometimes, like if you get lucky, right? And so for that reason, basically, usually when I think of how I want Faust to be improved, it usually has nothing to do with his items ever, and like I think that should stay the same. And it's usually stuff where he needs to be able to convert some situations a little bit better. The main ones for me would be making Tornado be not so janky is like a really big one for me. I also low-key think his 5H should be like -4 or something, so that he has something a little bit better in that mid-range, because like once from playing him, like he has really good buttons, right? But it's hard to deter people because he doesn't get good conversions really when you hit them. Your main deterrent is like, oh, if, let's say you hit them with a stray /2H. Oh, I hope I got a good item. Basically, it's your main deterrent for it, which is luck. And because like those moves are so minus, they're pressing and pressing and pressing. So they buffed his 5H a little bit, and they did a good job, but it doesn't do a lot of damage. And it's like still like -7, and you're using it in mid range. So he's still like pretty vulnerable. And then if you protect that range on the ground, then if he hits you with like, let's say jab, then not only is he not get a combo, but like normally they push you out as far as you can. You do like 2P to end it, and then he's even. So it's still not that good of a deterrent there. Like, and a lot of the options you would pick to try to like hedge these bets, like neutral jump. Neutral jump's probably the safest, I would say. Drill's like okay, but that's really hard to position to be very slightly minus. Like they like he just disadvantaged so often, and his movement is good to combos. Like he has that god backwalk and stuff, and he walks himself to the corner, and then because you walk yourself to the corner, you're defending the same space the person's pulling up, you keep hitting them, you're not converting from it, you don't have opportunities to pull items, you're just like, oh my god, let me out, please let me out, I want to play too. So my thoughts for him is always like either give him a way to somehow hit jabs into 6P easier, so yeah, he can at least get the space back when he's protecting the mid-range with other stuff, when you want to pick like lower commit stuff, or give him some type of combo of 5H single hit on normal hit instead of doing the little toss that does no damage. I mean, he gets an item, but like just something to like deter the opponent a little bit more in those ranges, or make people think of not just dash blocking over and over and over until they finally get in and they do their +3 or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely feel you on like a lot of that. The big problem is definitely deterring the opponent. He doesn't have like a lot of ways to make them like respect to like his mid range as much, which is definitely one of the most frustrating things about him. Dash blocking. That's like the story of like when you play this character and what people are trying to do to you, because he doesn't have any incredibly like advantageous normals. And like I don't even want like plus normals. Like that's like too much. I don't think Faust needs that, but he definitely needs more ways to deter the opponent from like just trying to force their way in like that. And yeah, I think the 5H buff that you said would actually be like a pretty good solution. What I think would be nicer is that maybe his close slash not being -4 would be good. Like -4 is like pretty, it's like on the lower side for close slashes for sure. Probably I think like the lowest.
I think it's the lowest, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's as low as
I always forget that it's -4 actually.
Yeah, it's real negative.
Yeah.
It doesn't look negative, so that negative, which is funny, so I can get away with it. But maybe like a -2 close slash, I think that would be pretty helpful in like deterring the opponent from dash blocking. But I think like a more, a better on block 5H, maybe more pushback on it, like just something that like keeps the opponent away at the mid-range a bit better. I think that would be helpful. Speaking of that, I think a thing I'd really want is for his 2P, which is it's currently -3 and 0 on hit. That is like the story of like deterring like opponents of it just not doing that, right? It's great range, super good, and the fact that it's a low and like it's a great match start option, but the problem is when you hit it, right, you can't stop the opponent from, depending on their normal, like hitting another button outside of pressing 2P again, like a lot of the times. So I can't even do, if I hit them with 2P, I can't do far slash into 2H and like expect me to beat their normals. And it's really frustrating. There's times I'm literally fighting people and I'll just do 2P, 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 2P. I'll hit it like 4 times and I look at the damage that I did. I'm like, oh god, it didn't do anything. Like I would have done the same, like damn. And like yeah, it being maybe -2 on block would maybe be a little better. Just something that like deter the opponent from just like constantly just pressing, right? And like get to his win condition, which is throwing items. And another thing I'd want is converting into the like that situation a little bit more. And a change they made actually in the last patch was making his 6P hit differently so that you can combo into mix. And while that is a good change, and overall I'd say is a buff, it actually ended up being a nerf in some ways, because when you do 5P into 6P tornado, it only combos on lightweight characters, and it's super lame. Like I need that to combo on like midweights and heavies, like, because now when I do a 5P, let's say like Leo runs up on me and does 2D, I do 5P 6P, I can't tornado, I have to do item throw, and they're not as far either because the 6P doesn't hit as far now. So if they're gonna go in the route of making the 6P have better conversion ability, you got to go all the way. You got to make it actually work. Like that would be nice too if you like land a 2K, right? Then you can convert that into like tornado, which gets you like some corner carry and stuff. So yeah, make 5P 6, like make the 6P hit properly so that it actually combos into mix. That'd be really great. And speaking of mix, that move is jank. That move is just jank. There's no better way to put it. There's so many weird situations with that move. Steering it in like the correct ways to make it do what you want feels so inconsistent. I understand like from probably like a programming perspective that it's kind of hard to make that move work properly because you can move it in all these different directions, right? But one of the main things that I'd want them to at least adjust, I don't know how they do it, but I'm sure they could figure it out, is making his tornado be able to steer into -3 easier. So right now you can steer the tornado on block with very precise inputs, and it's like really precise. It's also range dependent, and like there's all these factors, and you can make it -3 on block, which is huge for him. That's like such a huge thing, because normally it's -7, and every character gets a punish on that. So when you make them block a normal like 2H or far slash or 6H or something, like a way you can like kind of frame trap them, you know, for just like not pulling up and hitting them option right away outside of scalpel pull, because they can just like run up and 6P that on reaction, was tornado. And yeah, like it being -7 on block and like not consistent and able to make it -3 is so frustrating. Like I really, it's like the super hard execution check, and I would like it to make just more consistent. I also think -3 tornado is something that wasn't intended either. Like I don't even know if they meant to like let you do that, but yeah, make that more stable for sure. Another thing is, this is like a small thing, I think maybe make 6H have a little bit more pushback. Right now 6H into item throw is good at like the tippity tip, you know, and 6H into item throw super is also good at a little bit more ranges. But now when you block 6H, the opponent, all they have to do is just dash at you, look for scalpel pull, and that's like it, right? If they do item throw, like there's nothing that deters them from like actually like challenging on that. So the tornado buff would help there, and like a little bit more pushback on 6H I think would help, because making them block that move, like it takes like it's a lot of recovery. So I'd want a little bit more reward for making him block it from that far away. And for his items, it's a little hard. I think this is like where it's more of a sticky situation, because I think the big problem is definitely getting into the situation where Faust is good, where it's just him throwing all these items and like he's just covering the screen, and yeah, that's good. And getting there is definitely like where he's struggling with the most in some matchups. So I think like the item buffs, some item buffs will be nice, but I'm like I wouldn't be super offended if they didn't really make that many changes. The main one, it's Trumpet. I know what you're thinking. Okay, I know what you're thinking. So for Trumpet, all right, this is where I've come to. I've come to the conclusion. All right, there's so many different things I've heard for people saying like, oh, Trumpet should do this. Oh, Trumpet shouldn't be grabbable by the other opponent. I think if the opponent gets the Trumpet, this is kind of akin to Teddy in Persona 4 Arena with his bike key. So if the opponent gets the bike key, the bike doesn't go by two ways. It only goes like one time. So they get to use your item, just chill, but it's like a nerfed version of it, right? I think if the opponent gets the Trumpet, because there's some situations like you just can't get the Trumpet. Like there's just some situations you can't do it. And if the opponent gets it, I think they should get a Stampede, but it's like a weaker version of it. It's like slightly weaker, maybe like one dude. Because why would the mini Faust Stampede? Like, why would they listen to the opponent? That's not their man.
Because they're
Faust
children.
Is their man's. No. Faust is the commander of that army. They should listen to him, not Nago, who picked it up from doing Beyblade. No, he doesn't deserve it. Yeah, so I would want, like, if you get the Trumpet, just want one.
Let me meet you in the middle.
Okay.
Faust gets Trumpet, Stampede. Opponent gets Trumpet, 10 meter.
10 meter? I'd be pretty down with that, honestly.
That's the current bike key, actually. I actually think the bike key, the 1.1 bike key, is the definition of a nonsense item. It's like, oh, Teddy gets it, it goes back and forth. I get it, Teddy still gets it going once. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. Yeah. What's the point of me going there in the first place? What the fuck? Where, like, you know, as you know, I'm on the side of accept responsibility, and it's not that bad, actually. And I think people are just complaining because it's not overwhelming in his favor. But I can meet you in the middle, and opponent gets it, no Stampede at all for the opponent. They just get meter.
Yeah, they gotta get something.
A little meter. I would meet someone in the middle on that one, because one, it already exists. So if you play Ultimax right now, that's literally how it works right now for Teddy. And two, I think it's pretty reasonable. Like I think it's a fair argument to say that it kind of sucks that the opponent can get an item that punishes you if they get it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like,
yeah,
some of the items, like it's like you got it. Like he can't just get everything all the time, and he just gets to hide behind this stuff, you know. So like a lot of those, like, if the opponent gets to do something to it, they just get something different that like just doesn't hit you. I think is a pretty fair solution, personally.
For sure. Yeah. There's definitely contexts where Trumpet is just hard to get. Like it doesn't. I understand. And it's just that's like the truth, because most of the time it is in Faust's advantage, like, to get, because he's usually hitting you far away, then getting the Trumpet, then he's usually, but it's just not always the case. And because of that being a factor, throwing item in like a situation, I'm like, okay, Knight, like maybe 80% of the time, this is actually a pretty good choice. It becomes like so scary to do. So I just want, like, I want the opponent to get something, but you know, not the whole Stampede. Come on, bro. Come on. And also, they need to improve the way Trumpet bounces off the wall. So in the beta version, they noticed that Trumpet, like, so the items didn't bounce off the wall at all in the beta version. The Trumpet would just go to the wall and then it would just fall down to the floor. And then the opponent got it for free at the corner. They were like, okay, this is bad. We need to like fix this. So what they did is they created item bouncing, which was like kind of an elegant solution, but it still has some problems. There's this angle where you throw Trumpet into the corner, where it bounces off like the wall, but then it just like falls on them anyway, and it like has like the same result. And it actually comes up more often than like you would expect. So they either have to like make the trumpet wall bounce like farther, or I don't know, like they got to make some tweak to that, because I feel like that's a bit of an oversight. Obviously, if you throw the perfect arc into the corner, sure, but that's like such a rare spot. Usually it bounces off the wall, and then that would be a bit better. But besides that, like I don't really want that many changes. I thought about like maybe mini Faust should knock down. Wouldn't that be cool? But maybe that would be too much. But you know, I'm not opposed to it. Look, but overall, it's just his conversion ability that I really want to be improved, so that he can get into his winning game position, which is just throwing all these items one after another.
All right, so that's it for this one. Let us know what y'all think. Is he capping? Do we relate? Do we understand? Let us know in the comment sections below. Like and subscribe if you guys feel like it, and we will see you guys next time. Peace out.